At the 2024 Elimination Chamber in Perth, Western Australia, Drew McIntyre and Becky Lynch fought their way through the career-altering Elimination Chamber matches to claim victory and earn title shots at the grandest stage of them all. Plus, Rhea Ripley returned home to conquer Nia Jax in the main event. All this and so much more on the Wrasslin City Podcast. What is up, everybody, and welcome to the greatest city in the world. Welcome to Wrasslin City. As always, I'm Taylor.
And I'm Ryler.
And I tried this morning to wake up at 4 a.m., but I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I
no,
couldn't do it.
you said last night you were gonna try waking up at that time. At that point, I was like, yeah, good luck to you, more power to you. I wasn't even gonna try because I knew I get off work at 10:30, so I knew as soon as I got off, even if I went to sleep at the minute I got home, that would be like 5.5 hours of sleep. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. But we were still able to watch it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I almost made it. So I went to bed at like 10:30 last night, and I had an alarm set for 4 a.m. because that's when the main show started for us. And I didn't wait. I woke up at 4:30, so I ended up missing the beginning of the women's chamber match, but I was able to catch the tail end of it, and then I watched the tail end of that, and then I watched the Judgment Day and tag team match with Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, and then I watched the Grayson Waller effect, and then right when the men's chamber was about to start, I ended up crashing. I fell back to sleep, and I fell asleep through that and the main event. But I was able to go back and watch it once I woke up.
Yeah, that's about I went to bed about an hour earlier than what I usually do. And I woke up maybe like not 8 or 9 o'clock, something like that, and went to the gym, got my usual, morning routine out of the way. And then at 11 o'clock or so, I got back home and I wasn't able to watch the entire card, but I did get to see the major highlights, which was the talk show, the men's chamber match, and I also got to see Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax. So I at least got to see the matches themselves. Unfortunately, with how social media is nowadays, I was trying not to go on Instagram or Twitter to avoid any spoilers, but that wasn't really it's almost like by this point, by habit, I kind of just click on apps when I'm going to the bathroom or just chilling or whatever the case is. And as soon as I looked on Twitter, it was like, oh, Becky Lynch wins this match. I was like, okay, well, that match is spoiled. So then a few minutes later, I went and I ended up looking at Instagram, and the first thing that popped up, Drew McIntyre wins this match. And I'm like, bruh. I mean, and I didn't see anything else, so I figured by that point, like if Nia Jax won, or if what's her name, New Catch Republic, I think is her name. If they would have won the tag
Mm-hmm.
titles, then I probably would have saw something about it. So it was like I figured they just retained. So yeah, yeah. I wish I got to see it at the right time, as it was happening, but not really possible with that
Yeah,
time.
yeah, I know. I got to applaud, fans that, are having to do what we had to do today, wake up at the butt crack of dawn just to watch these shows on like a weekly basis. They got to do that for Raw, SmackDown, and the PLEs. I'm glad we ain't got to do that more than once, but
Yeah, I'm
I'm
glad
glad we got
too.
that out
That
of the
sounds like a
way.
struggle.
Yeah, for real. All right, so I guess we can get into the Elimination Chamber review.
Yep, we can go right ahead, I guess, with the match that I didn't even realize until I was recapping it and making all the notes. I did not know actually occurred, and that was on the pre-show. The Kabuki Warriors took on Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell for the Women's Tag Team Championships. I did not see this match. When I
I
first
didn't either.
launched up the stream, I did see there was a fairly long, like there was a pre-show going on, but I didn't even see this match like occurred. I saw all the panel people just discussing all the stuff going on the pre-show, and then by the next time I skipped towards the end of the pre-show, it was already like transitioning into the main card. So it must have not
Mm.
been that long of a match. And of course, the Kabuki Warriors retained. I don't know really what happened during the match. It doesn't sound like anything too important, but yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. The Kabuki Warriors did retain their tag titles in the pre-show.
Yeah, I mean, which we expected. I feel like they did this since Indy Hartwell, she's Australian. So I just feel like they did this just to, allow her to wrestle in front of her home country, which I mean that's a good thing for them to do. But yeah, I didn't see the match, so I'm not sure how it went or anything, but they did retain, so their title reign continues. So I guess we'll get into the main card now. You had the women's chamber match kicked off the show, and like I said earlier, I caught the tail end of this. When I tuned in, it was down to Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, Bianca Belair, and Becky Lynch. So I mean, really, I only missed one elimination, so I didn't miss a whole lot. But what I saw, I really enjoyed this match. Um, I would say the MVP for me in this match was Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people. I wasn't able to watch this match, but I did see that a lot of people were saying it was a pretty good match. And the biggest thing that I've noted from this, people just talking, on Twitter or whatnot, is that yeah, Tiffany Stratton did seem to be very over during this match. I think we were talking about this earlier. I don't think she's from Australia, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
So
she's from Minnesota, I think is what the
yeah,
announcer
so
said.
just some random, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't know why in particular. Then I mean, I guess I mean, I know in general she has some momentum right now, but yeah, no, I wouldn't expect. I don't know. I feel like that was just kind of a random one, but yeah, they apparently seem to be really behind her during this match.
Yeah, they were. They were. I mean, she was so over to the fact that when she did get eliminated, the Australian fans started chanting "bullshit," like this is bullshit. Which I mean, I get it. Like, I mean, obviously she wasn't going to win this match, but I think it was a good spot for her, and she really, I mean, she wrestled like the rent was due, pretty much.
Yeah. That's good that they at least put on a good match. Good way to start out the show with some good energy. Uh, I do see that. So the first one eliminated was Naomi by Tiffany Stratton. I saw a
Mhm.
lot of people complaining about that online, which with how the internet fan base is, they're going to complain no matter who gets eliminated first. But I was surprised that I don't know. Of all the people, so it was, well, first, so yeah, it was Liv Morgan, Naomi, Becky Lynch, Tiffany Stratton, Bianca Belair, and Raquel Rodriguez. So I don't know who I expected to be the first eliminated. I guess it makes the most sense, but Naomi just really hasn't I don't, has she had any matches on SmackDown or anything like that since her return at the Rumble? She might have, and I just missed over it or
Yeah,
something.
she had a then she had a qualifying match to get into this
Oh
match.
yeah, you're right. You're right. They all had to
Can't remember
qualify. Yeah.
I can't remember who it was against, but yeah, this is I think her second match since returning. So her third match, I guess you could
Yeah,
count the
yeah.
Royal Rumble. But yeah.
Yeah, which I don't know. I just thought her getting eliminated first was a little weird. I kind of expected maybe Raquel to get eliminated first or something, but with this one it's not it doesn't make that big of a difference who gets eliminated first. So, they just went on like normal.
Yeah. And then after Naomi was eliminated, Tiffany Stratton, we talked about her being the MVP. She hit a swan ton bomb off the top of the pod, landing on Bianca, Liv, and company outside of the ring. And then Stratton gets in the ring. Her and Liv Morgan start going at it. Tiffany Stratton looks like she's about to go up to the top rope, but then Liv Morgan catches her and hits her with the Oblivion, eliminating Tiffany Stratton. And then that's when the UK fans, Australian fans, started chanting bullshit over that.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like, I mean, because when you were talking about it, that was like that was the biggest spot, you know. It's always in those chamber matches, which we'll talk about in the men's match too. There were a few different spots like that, but yeah, it's always those high risk top of the chamber type spot, or top of the, pod type spots that always get them all excited. So yeah, it's cool seeing it, especially you said I didn't, I was going to go back and see it. I did not see it, but just a swanton bomb off the top to the outside. That sounds, yeah, a lot of room for error there. So it's
Mm-hmm.
cool seeing them give opportunities like that to the woman to make these type of matches better, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then after she was eliminated, Raquel Rodriguez was eliminated by Bianca Belair. And I said in the predictions that I think that Raquel Rodriguez was going to eliminate Liv Morgan, but that didn't happen, so I don't get any points there, sadly. And then after that, later on in the match, Liv Morgan eliminated Bianca Belair, and then right after, Becky Lynch hit the manhandle slam on Liv to pick up the win.
Yeah, so back to back eliminations basically, huh? And that's it.
Yeah,
That's crazy because that's what we were saying for like when me and Labuse Braden, the other person that was on the other week when we were giving our predictions, we were saying, yeah, that Liv Morgan could very well possibly be in the final two, either Lynch and Belair or Lynch and Morgan. And it ended up being Lynch and Morgan, but it's still they were so closely linked together with those eliminations that yeah, it may as well have been both those in the final two, you know? So, yeah.
hmm yeah. I mean, Liv Morgan. I mean, she finished second in the Royal Rumble, and now she finished second in the Elimination Chamber. She just can't get her story done, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, but as
And
we
I
all
think,
expected, Becky Lynch won and will go on
hmm
to face, well, we'll talk about later, the women's champion still, Rhea Ripley.
yeah, yeah. She lived. Becky Lynch picked up the win, and she's going to WrestleMania. Next up on the card, we had the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest defending their tag team titles against the New Catch Republic. That is Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. I really enjoyed this match. It was very fast paced. I mean, Tyler Bate just impresses me the way I like when he does a lariat off the rope, like kind of like he does his arms like in his head and he bounces off, and I think that's pretty cool.
So I didn't, okay, so first, yeah, Judgment Day ended up retaining their tag titles. When Judgment Day came out, it's, still continues the trend of Dominic as the one that everybody hates him. They turn their attention to him and start booing him like crazy. He's still a top heel. Love to see it. So
hmm
I saw a part of this match. I was kind of I just got home, was getting washed up or whatnot. So I didn't see the entire match, but I did see the end where at first it seemed like a good match. It seemed like the fans were or the crowd there was into it. But the ending where Damian Priest basically hit a double South of Heaven, like what, choke slam, I guess it would be.
hmm
And he rolled over. I don't remember who he pinned it was, but Finn Balor, like directly after that slam, hit the coup de grace to get the pinfall. And I don't know. I thought it was a pretty cool, at least decisive ending. I like Damian Priest personally. I know a lot of people don't, but I don't know, I like him a lot. And the coup de grace is a great move. So Yeah, I love Judgment Day. Seeing them retain, I was A-okay with that.
Yeah, I was too. And I would like to see them do the South of Heaven choke slam into the coup de grace some more. I think that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do that more. One thing I noticed on social media after this match, I didn't see it when I was watching it live, but apparently people were saying that it looks like Finn Balor like hurt his thumb or something. They said that he was holding his thumb a lot after the match, but hopefully it's
Hmm.
nothing too serious. We'll
Yeah,
have
and
to
even
wait
if
and
it was
see.
something that shouldn't, I don't think would be anything that would like put him out on the shelves. I mean, I'm not no doctor, but it's
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine him having to be out for that for too long. So hopefully not though.
Yeah, I hope not. Uh, I mean, I hope not. That's all I got to say. I guess we'll get into the Grayson Waller effect with Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. Huge, huge amount of pyro for Cody Rhodes. I mean, you would have thought this was like a
Yeah.
WrestleMania, but then again, it is a stadium event, so they wanted to go all out for him. And I mean, that proved that he's like the top baby face right now in the WWE, and it's like not even close.
Yeah, for sure. As soon as you think the pyro is going to end, because first he has the first one, and then like the intro, and then he does it after the whoa, that it all goes crazy, and then it stops
Hmm.
for a minute, and then it goes again, and then at that point you're like, okay, that was a bunch of pyro, and then he gets in the ring, he goes on the top rope, does his thing. And then more pyro over the top of the stadium. It's like an outside view, and it's like really
Yeah,
like a whole separate fireworks show. Now they did it throughout this entire event. There were we'll still talk about there were a few more incidents like this where there were um some people that got some crazy pyro, but Cody Rhodes was, yeah, like you said, for sure the biggest one. And he yeah, a bunch of pyro. Definitely you would think it was WrestleMania with how much it was.
yeah, for sure. Seth Rollins actually made an announcement in this promo. He said that he is getting closer to being cleared to compete in the ring. About time.
Yeah, about time. I did see after this show ended though, it was shown in like, I mean, I guess it's rumor and innuendo, so it's not confirmed necessarily, but it was said that the Elimination Chamber the original match card was intended to have Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed for the World Heavyweight Championship. So I guess that makes sense with it only being four matches. Maybe that's what was kind of missing in this on this card. Uh but yeah, I mean this injury sidelined that plans if that was indeed the plan. So seeing him back and definitely in solid time before WrestleMania where he can still maybe have a match or two to warm himself up before he competes at WrestleMania, possibly matches at WrestleMania. And yeah, this is some good timing. I'm glad that he's finally getting over the issues he was having.
Yeah, me too. And you mentioned the like Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed match was supposed to take place. I saw Bronson Reed posted on social media, like following the pay-per-view, saying that he was supposed to be here, but apparently him and his wife just introduced a baby into the world, so he had to be there with his family, so he wasn't able to make it to the Elimination Chamber.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, didn't he lost the qualifier, wasn't it to Bobby Lashley, I think?
Yeah.
Or
Hmm.
yeah, to Bobby. So maybe that's why he ended up losing it. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. And if so, good for him.
Yeah. Uh, family over everything is what I got to say. So back to the promo, I got Cody Rhodes says he wants to face The Rock one on one. He says he says he'll fight him any place, anywhere, anytime. And honestly, I feel like he wants to have a match with The Rock, but I still think this is going to be a tag team match at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I don't think they're gonna end up doing Cody Rhodes and The Rock at WrestleMania. At least I don't yeah, I don't think WrestleMania in general. Maybe something like in the future, some sort of other pay-per-view. I don't see that with The Rock's his schedule, how busy he is. I don't see him just taking that time out to do that. But he did Cody Rhodes when he was talking about this, he was still basically saying why he wants to face The Rock, and he was talking about how what was he saying? Basically, so a few weeks ago on SmackDown, when he was talking about where he gave up his title shot and let The Rock take it or whatever before all this stuff developed with the heel turn and the bloodline and stuff, he kind of connected it because he's like, you don't want to know what we said to each other during that moment, why I
yeah,
gave up this shot, whatnot, and how things have turned out. And that's why he wants to face The Rock. So I thought it was great that they finally, I thought they were just going to sweep it under the rug and forget like that segment didn't even happen. So it's nice to
yeah,
at
me
least
too.
see, even if it still doesn't really make sense, no matter how you word it, Cody still, I mean, quite frankly, looks like a bitch, giving up his shot like that. They're still trying to at least cover up for it and make a kayfabe like explanation. So I was happy to see that for sure. But I don't think Rock and Cody is actually going to happen.
Yeah, and The Rock will be able to respond next week. I know he'll be on SmackDown next week, so I wonder what he'll have to say about Cody Rhodes challenging him.
Yeah, and yeah, like you said, Rollins said that he has Cody's back to make sure that if they do face or at WrestleMania to make sure that the bloodline doesn't interfere like they have with all of Roman's title matches. So I think it's adding some more uncertainty to if Roman Reigns is going to retain, because now if Solo comes out or Jimmy or Paul or whatever the situation is, now there's Rollins is the equalizer. So I think they're just building more to make WrestleMania a bigger match.
Yeah, and I've seen so many people on social media saying that they should do this at WrestleMania, like do the tag team match, and then the next night they should have Seth Rollins turn on Cody Rhodes and cost him the championship match, which I don't agree with. I mean, it makes sense because everything that Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins have been through, but I feel like taking down the bloodline would be bigger than getting a win over Cody Rhodes. But I mean, that's just my
Yeah,
opinion, though.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think if we, because it's hard because this is all the decision on this is going to end up just being determined by how long Roman's reign is going to be because they're still last year it was just him trying to get to a thousand days. Now it's could he beat I think it's Hulk Hogan's reign now. So they're like,
Yeah.
are they going to have him retain at WrestleMania to beat Hulk Hogan? Or to surpass his reign, in the future later this year. So I think if they want him to keep the title and pass Hogan's reign, they would do something like that. But if this is indeed the time to end his reign, I would much rather see The Rock, like that. A lot of people are theorizing with him being a double agent and turning on Reigns at night two. That would be great. I mean, Bloodline imploding, Rhodes finally getting his title, getting the title, finishing the story. And then after that, you have so many different potential storylines. You could have Reigns moving away from the title for a little bit to feud with Jay, Jimmy, Solo, or The Rock. There's just so many different options with that. I don't now what's going to happen with Rhodes after? That's a good question. But yeah, I think there's more opportunity for Rock being, the decision for the finish at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I hope that's the route they go. I love Roman Reigns to death, but I feel like this title reign. I feel like he served his time as champion long enough. And Cody Rhodes, like I said earlier, he's the face of the WWE now. He was last year coming into the match, and they missed on that. And I think this year they should finally capitalize on that and give him the title.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's time too. And that's us saying that as huge Roman fans. Yeah,
It's crazy because last year we were rooting for Roman in that match, but this year we're rooting for Cody now.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. A lot changes over the course of a year, you know. And
hmm
yeah, I agree. I think it's time. So, but that still wasn't even. So that was for the most part the end of this segment. The most, I mean, Rhodes had his announcement, Rollins had his big announcement, but Theory, it just kind of closed it out. Theory interrupted, did the heel shtick type thing where he was, oh, like it's you think you're gonna face The Rock, whatever, and then he like stole all his used all his phrases like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you think. Rollins was building him up like, oh, come on now, take off your jacket, show him what you got, whatever. And he did the if you smell, and then Rollins, basically, I think he just like hit him or whatever, and it was a typical heel beatdown type thing. Cody Rhodes hit the Cody Cutter, and then Seth
hmm
Rollins followed up with a curb stomp. And Grayson Waller was in the back, just like I guess just fed up with Theory. I don't think that's gonna lead to them splitting or anything. I think it was just
Yeah. Yeah.
he was done with I guess Theory. Like I guess he thought he shouldn't have interrupted or whatnot, made it about him. So he kind of just sat back and watched while Theory got
Yeah.
beat up.
Yeah.
So
I thought
Rollins
that was
hit
a
the
little
curb
weird.
stomp. You said what?
I thought that was a little weird at first, seeing that, just seeing Grayson
Yeah,
Waller just stand
I
there and
thought
watch
Theory would
him.
have just gotten beat up too, but no, he just sat back and let him do it or whatever. But Rollins hit the curb stomp, and that sell that Theory did was crazy.
It was. He did like almost a front flip,
He
almost.
was like spiked like a tree for a second. I know that there's this video like classic footage of Shawn Michaels back in the day. I don't remember what the spot was that he did, but yeah, it's basically he falls and then stands up like directly up like a tree. And that's kind of like what Theory did. It was like a face plant spike type thing before flipping over. And yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool sell.
Yeah, and I thought it was funny because whenever Theory was going to do the if you smell, and then Rollins like grabbed him and like threw him into like turnbuckle, but as he was throwing him in, Theory was still doing this. No.
Yeah. He was getting grabbed
Oh
and thrown into it. Yeah, he was still
yeah.
smell.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, but
Yeah, and
I don't think that'll lead to anything between like Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, just like you said, because I know whenever before Grayson Waller came out, Austin Theory was like talking trash to like all the Australians in the crowd. So maybe he was just like, oh well.
yeah, this wasn't really, I don't think, a promo or a segment to take too deep. It was just to just to announce that Rollins is coming back and then to basically further Rhodes's intentions going into the storyline at WrestleMania. So yeah, take it for what it is, I guess. It was a cool ending though too.
Yeah, and you actually got a point from this segment. You said that the
Yeah.
Rock wouldn't show up, so and he didn't. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
I thought he
thought
would. I mean, it made sense, obviously, but no, no, you didn't have The Rock didn't show up. Paul Heyman, Roman, Solo, Jimmy, none of them showed up. So
I definitely would have expected somebody from the bloodline to show up, like maybe Heyman was, I think, my prediction.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I thought it was a little weird that none of them showed up, but if The Rock showed up, yeah, that's what my logic just told me that it would have been promoted. I mean, I know he's obviously had, his unadvertised returns, but at this point it's like it's not a return, so I don't think they would do just some random appearance of The Rock anymore that's not a big, crazy, unexpected return. I don't know. At this point, they would advertise him for events that are coming up. So yeah, but he's returning on SmackDown next week.
Yeah, yeah, and they advertised that. So is Roman's going to be there too, right? I feel like
Yes, Rock
oh,
and
okay.
Roman Reigns return after 1 week gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. All right, that leaves just one more match on the
two more.
card. Oh, dang it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the men's chamber match. Lashley versus Knight versus Paul versus Owens versus Orton versus McIntyre. The winner of this was going to go face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40, and Drew McIntyre picked up the win in this one.
Yep, Drew with the dub. I thought it was
Hmm.
a pretty good match. There was throughout it, so no eliminations happened until all of the entrants were already out of their pods. So I thought that was a little cool.
Hmm.
I think during the initial stages, so first Bobby Lashley was the first eliminated, which is also something I predicted because he was really the only one in the match without any solid like any storyline. He doesn't really have that many. I guess he has all that stuff with the Street Profits. Maybe. I don't really know what they've been doing, not much.
Yeah, they have some feud with like the New Testament, like Karrion Cross and AOP.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. But okay, he has the least involvement with, he's the lowest on the card currently. But even with him being the first elimination, he still looked very impressive during this. He
Hmm.
hit a lot of spears. He ended up so on the outside was it was Logan Paul and then who else was it? Logan Paul and it was Kevin Owens. So he threw Owens through one pod and then he got up and Logan was on the opposite facing pod, and Lashley went charged all the way down and speared him through the pod. I was thinking that like Logan was gonna move out of the way or something, and
Hmm. Yeah, I did too.
Lashley was gonna go through a chamber by himself, but. No, he took Logan through it, and it looked like a brutal spot. I mean, it always does when they go through the pod, but
Hmm.
yeah, it looked particularly painful in this one. You could tell it hurt both of them, like Lashley too. So yeah, he still looked good, even though he was the first eliminated. Like in defeat, he still looked good.
Yeah, I really loved that spot, and the Australian fans loved it too. They loved it so much they started chanting "Thank you, Bobby," and they were chanting some other things too.
Yeah.
But one thing that happened before that I really got a laugh out of, and I really enjoyed was it was L.A. Knight. He was like beating Drew's head on one of the pods. It was on Kevin Owens' pod, and he was beating his head on the pod, and Owens was like still in his pod, hasn't entered the match yet. And while LA Knight was doing that, Kevin Owens sort of like hitting the glass as if he was like hitting Drew McIntyre. I thought that was pretty funny, pretty cool. And then yeah, right after that spear that Lashley did, he targeted LA Knight, tried to put him in the hurt lock, but his he had a hurt elbow. He had like a wrapped
Hmm.
up really good, and they had the brace on it, and he wasn't able to get the hurt lock in. That allowed Drew McIntyre to hit the Claymore and eliminate Bobby Lashley.
Yep, yep. It yeah, like I said, that was so the elbow was the kind of the storytelling of that of Lashley's elimination. It was holding him back, making him not able to um fully lock in the hurt lock on LA Knight. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean he still looked fine and pretty good way to have a first elimination.
Yeah, I do too. And then right after that, LA Knight started to get some momentum. He ended up hitting the BFT, the blunt force trauma, on Randy Orton, and then Drew McIntyre. And as he was going for the cover, AJ Styles ran in with a chair and hit LA Knight right in the back, and then would end up hitting a Styles clash. on LA Knight onto the chair, and then that allowed Drew McIntyre to crawl to the cover. So from that, it looks like we're getting maybe LA Knight and AJ Styles program into WrestleMania. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
that's what I would imagine. And that's, I mean, that's cool. It's not necessarily a like a ticket mover, you know. I don't think anybody's gonna watch just for that match, but it's still you know, WrestleMania now, 2 nights. It's gonna be a lot of matches on those cards. So it's just you know, in the middle of the card on either of those nights would be a is a pretty solid addition to it. And it's a way to get LA Knight an established rivalry because, you know, people are still not as crazy as they were for LA Knight, like, you know, let's say 8-ish months ago, but
Hmm.
they still have that, they still want to see him. So having him in a match, and I imagine with Styles' momentum recently that LA Knight's going to pick up that win. So yeah, seeing him get a win at WrestleMania, that'll be nice to see.
Yeah, I would love. I mean, I wouldn't be against a LA Knight and AJ Styles match, but I feel like I would. I'd like to see like LA Knight like win a title or something at WrestleMania. I was maybe like the U.S. title. That's what I was thinking. But I mean, I wouldn't be against the LA Knight and AJ Styles feud or anything like that. But
Yeah.
after that happened, Owens would get eliminated by Randy Orton after hitting the RKO. And one thing about Randy Orton, he was really favoring his back throughout this match. And it's now it's for me, it's like every time he like goes to grab his bag, I'm just like, oh no, please don't be anything. Please don't be.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell at this point. He's so good at selling that you can't really
Hmm.
to know what's real and what's him just playing it up. I mean, I guarantee you a big portion of it's him playing it up, but at the same time, with a back injury, that's not well, with any injury, but a back injury, you know, in the ring, you're constantly taking impact. You're whenever you do slams, I mean, even the RKO, you're jumping up and landing directly on your back. So it's like,
Yeah.
I think it probably does actually hurt to a degree, but I hope it's not really him having some serious issues at this point. We know his time is limited, but yeah, I hope we at least get to see him for a little bit longer, you know. I hope these matches aren't taking that big of a toll on him.
Yeah, and what made me like worried the most, I mean, obviously like I mean, commentaries, they're told what to say, but like they were trying everything that they could to like make it seem like he was legitimately hurt, and that's what was starting to worry me a little bit.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed with wrestling recently is they seem to have they have trends in wrestling, or at least in WWE, where they have like a so like in the past, like the early 2000s, it was always like, you know, his brains are scrambled or he has a concussion or
Yeah.
whatever, he's messed up. Obviously now that doesn't that's not gonna fly. So now it seems to be transitioning over to more of yeah, they implement back injuries in storylines now. And that's not something I mean, there probably are storylines in the past, if I really thought about it, where they implemented like you know, back injuries, but I always remember it being like elbow or some sort of elbow, leg, maybe the knee or something like that, and they would target it. But it seems like more recently, I guess since Triple H has been taking over for booking, now the lower back is a thing they if it's real life, they implement it more in the storylines. You know, we just saw that with Seth Rollins and
Hmm.
Shinsuke Nakamura, and now it's happening with Randy Orton. So I think it's a cool little. It's a way to blend real life with you know, kayfabe. It meshes the two a little bit better. Now it's not
Yeah.
just played up minor injuries. It's the back, you know. So
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, they've been playing it up though for sure.
Yeah, he was favoring that back throughout the entire match, but I mean, he still looked great. I mean, he did everything that he was supposed to do. I mean, he it's crazy that like how much he can do now, like at his age, and like how long he's been doing this, just coming back from back surgery. I mean, it's insane all the things that he's still able to do on a weekly basis.
Yeah, yeah, he looked good during this match. Like you said, he eliminated Kevin Owens. I do think it was probably the most anticlimactic finish. You know, he kind of like Owens was doing pretty good. I think he had a pop-up powerbomb. I thought it was on Drew, maybe it was on Orton, but either way he
No,
was
it was
getting
on Drew.
some
Yeah,
okay, yeah, he
yeah,
was
it was
getting
on
some
Drew.
momentum.
And yeah, he had a power bomb on Drew, and then he super kicked Orton, and then tried to do his pop up power bomb on Orton. Orton jumped over and was able to hit the RKO.
Yeah, yeah. So it was just whatever, you know, he eliminated him. He did look good though. And I guess after that, and you know, if we're just going through the time or this match, I guess elimination by elimination. In between that, Logan Paul hit the crossbody off the top rope. I don't remember, yeah, I don't remember who he hit it on, but I did think that was a pretty cool like I said earlier in the women's match, any high risk off the top type move is pretty cool to see. And Logan Paul he did a lot of the high impact spots in this match. And yeah, he's impressed a lot so far. And the crossbody did look pretty good.
Yeah, he hit the crossbody on Drew McIntyre, and then he brought the brass knuckles out of his wrestling tights, and he looked like he was about to hit Drew McIntyre with them, and then Randy Orton out of nowhere RKO and crawled to the cover, and that was the end of Logan Paul in this match.
Yeah, and that was a great RKO too. I thought the way the camera angle was, like it literally
Hmm.
was out of nowhere. Like at this point, I mean, I guess it's kind of a trend, like you expect it with Orton, but it wasn't like a, you know, like you were you were anticipating it with how the reversals and the flow was working right there. You know, he reverses something, hits RKO like he did with Owens. It was like Logan was doing this, and then out of the camera view, he had suddenly popped in and just hit the RKO. So I thought it was a really cool yeah, it was truly an RKO out of nowhere. So
Yeah,
Logan
it was.
Paul's out of the match, and it was between, yep, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre in the final two.
Yeah, it was, and they went on for a little bit. Drew McIntyre ended up trying to go for the Claymore kick. Randy Orton ended up collapsing from his back, and then he, just walks over to Randy Orton. Randy Orton just trying to crawl up his legs, and then out of nowhere again, another RKO. He gets up for. See, this is what bothered me. He hits the RKO, and instead of just crawling to the cover, he gets up, and that's when I knew like something was going to happen. And something did happen. Logan Paul hit Randy Orton with the brass knuckles, and then that allowed Drew McIntyre to pick up the win.
Yep, so that I mean obviously means that we're most likely going to see Logan Paul and Randy Orton at WrestleMania, I guess. I wonder what this point, I guess they're just gonna finish Logan Paul and Kevin Owens on that weird DQ finish from the Rumble. So I don't know. I wonder if it's gonna be a triple threat.
Yeah, I was thinking like a triple threat, or maybe they could, throw in like maybe AJ Styles and LA Knight could get thrown in there. They can do a ladder match,
Ooh,
or,
that would be good. Yeah.
or I mean, they
Yeah,
could
I
do
just feel
something
like
like that.
I don't think they're just gonna I mean they could, knowing WWE, it's possible, I guess, for them, but I don't see them just dropping the Owens and Paul rivalry off of that DQ finish at the Rumble. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't think so too. If anything, I think it'll be a multi-man, maybe a triple threat match, or
Yeah,
you
that
could
makes
add
the most
some
sense.
more people in there. But yeah, Drew McIntyre picked up the win, and more pyro, tons of it.
Yes, Drew McIntyre won, and it was a bunch of pyro again. It was the entire stadium over the top was going crazy. The entrance ramp, they had a bunch of pyro, and yeah, truly giving him he once again has his shot to finally get his moment at WrestleMania. I mean, he did
Mm-hmm.
in what was that, WrestleMania? Oh, I get those so
30,
mixed up.
36.
36, the pandemic mania. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He beat Brock Lesnar, but he didn't really get his moment because his crowning moment because there were no fans to witness it, you know. What's the phrase? If a tree falls down in the middle of the woods and nobody's there to hear it, did it actually fall? That's what
Yeah.
it feels like. It feels like did he actually
Mm-hmm.
get his moment because it wasn't nobody was even there. He did it in the middle of nobody. So
Mm-hmm.
now he finally gets that shot. I don't know. I think he could very well beat Rollins at Mania. So he finally at least has a guaranteed shot at having his moment again.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think he should win the title at WrestleMania 40. He deserves it more than anybody. I've been harping on that since we started this podcast that he deserves to have his WrestleMania moment, and it needs to be this year.
Yeah, I agree for sure. And people, I don't really know that many people. Like everybody is a fan of Drew McIntyre. It seems like a lot of people, even the people that don't support him like that, they still just can agree that he's deserving of this shot. So yeah, I think he was the best decision for sure.
Yeah, I'm really loving his work so far with every the his matches, his promos now, his all the stuff he's doing on social media. He's still
Ever
taking
since he
shots at
turned
CM
heel.
Punk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right, so now we have one match to cover, and that is our main event. It is Rhea Ripley retained against Nia Jax in the main event.
Yeah, yeah, you kind
I mean,
of
I get it. I get it. You know, it's Rhea Ripley. They're in Australia. She's from Australia. So, I mean, I didn't get to see this match. I fell asleep and I actually didn't go back and watch this one. I did see some of the highlights on social media. I did see where Nia Jax like tried to do a power bomb on Rhea Ripley through the announcers table, but it didn't break.
Mhm.
So she just Rhea just like laid there on the table, and then Nia Jax like got up in one of the announcers' chairs and then did like an elbow drop from it onto the table, and it finally broke at that point.
Yeah, it was very like underwhelming, I guess. She put her through it. Yeah, like you said, it didn't break. I don't know if that was planned for it not to break or whatnot, but she hit that elbow drop. And I mean, I hope it was planned for it to just break at that power bomb because she hit that elbow drop and it was like I don't even know if she went up in the air. It was like literally just fell down,
Yeah.
and so it wasn't very impactful, but it did the table is a lot of times just used to, I feel like, is used to make the match at the end feel more like chaotic, like more stuff happened during the match, more they did more for the shot at winning this championship. There were more things that happened. So they kind of just did that, I think, to add to the overall quality. It was pretty cool. I wasn't paying too much attention. I was kind of trying to do a few things at once, trying to take notes for this too. But there was one spot where Nia Jax I think she just got slammed down in the turnbuckle. It did look a little rough. That's
Hmm.
what the commentators were saying too. They were like, "Ooh, that was like a pretty hard landing for Nia." Uh, I thought that was okay. The match was overall better than I expected, though. I will say, as somebody that obviously I don't like Nia Jax. I've never really found her very good, very entertaining, and she
Yeah, me
injures a
too.
bunch of people. But
Hmm.
ever since this return, she hasn't injured anybody, and you can tell that, at least if this match is any sort of indicator, she has gotten better in the ring than she was in her previous return. So there's at least that. Now, like you said, the main event, I don't know if I would have put it as the main event. I probably would have put the men's chamber as the main event, or even the women's chamber. I mean, I feel the elimination chamber should have had an elimination chamber match as the main event. But Yeah, like you said, you kind of already explained. I understand why. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, a little weird way to end the pay-per-view, but we all knew that Nia Jax was not going to win this match. Rhea Ripley was going to retain, and that's exactly what happened. I guess good way to send the fans home happy.
Yeah, and a good way to make Rhea Ripley even more stronger now that she's got a match with Becky Lynch at WrestleMania.
Yep, yep. Now it's official. Yep, we know that it's Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. I mean, we already kind of figured it before this, but yeah, yeah. I felt like this, like it always is with the Elimination Chamber, maybe not just Elimination Chamber, but any sort of pre-WrestleMania like Fastlane, No Way Out. It's always kind of predictable because you know that they're not gonna change very much going into WrestleMania. Like they're not just gonna have Rhea Ripley lose the women's title before WrestleMania when she's had this huge reign. I mean, I guess anything's possible. Like I remember Elimination Chamber 2010, Sheamus lost the WWE title, and he was eliminated like first or second in the match. So I
Hmm.
guess anything's possible, any title change is possible, but for the most part, this is usually a predictable pay-per-view. Uh, but it was still pretty good. I mean, it was a stadium show. The fans looked like they were very into it, and there were some solid matches with some solid spots.
Yeah, it was an overall show. I mean, if I were to give it a letter grade, I I'd probably give it I'd probably give it like an A minus. It's probably be my uh letter grade for this.
Um, I would give it a I would give it a B minus, I think, maybe
B
even a
minus.
C plus, because I think that it was good, but it's not when I look back at this a few months from now, I don't think this is going to be a pay-per-view I'm going to really look back very like it was whatever. It was okay. It wasn't pretty middle of the line. Yeah, maybe I think B minus would probably be the would be my range for this. It was good for
Okay.
what it was, but it wasn't
Hmm.
anything. There was definitely room for improvement.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I'd go higher, but I missed a lot of it, so because I was sleeping.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I feel like, man, because I was in between like a B or like an A minus, but I mean, it was a good show for what it was, like you said. The women's chamber, honestly, I'd probably say the women's chamber was better than the men's, if I had to say
Yeah,
so.
like I said, I didn't really watch the women's chamber, so I didn't have really much to go off of for that. But yeah, I mean, I can imagine that because the men's chamber, it was good, but I remember Mike Cole saying like in the middle of the match, I forgot what he did. Like he hit so I think it was Bobby Lashley maybe doing the spear through the chamber, and he was like, "Oh, is this the most like grueling elimination chamber match in history?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, most definitely
No,
not.
yeah,
It was a
no.
good match, but I
Hmm.
wouldn't even put it in top I don't know if I'd put it in the top five chambers. Maybe top five. I don't think so though. Uh, but the women's one, it seems like recently they show out a lot more. Like a lot of people are arguing that the women's rumble this year was better than the men's rumble.
Hmm.
I remember last year was the one that Liv Morgan won, correct? Maybe that was 2022. How fast this time is flying by. It's crazy. Uh, but
You talking about the chamber match from last year?
no, the Money in the Bank match from last year.
Oh, Io Sky won the.
Io Sky.
Liv
Okay,
Morgan.
yeah.
Liv Morgan won the 2022 Money in the
Okay,
Bank.
yeah, see, I'm getting those years mixed up. But either way,
Hmm.
they definitely showcase the women's matches to have just as many high spots and good parts to it as the men's matches, more recently. So
Yeah.
yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah. So now that the Elimination Chamber is out of the way, we are now. about 6 weeks to WrestleMania, and we already have four matches confirmed, and those are the main titles for both the men and the women. You got the Women's World Championship match. You got Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. You got the other Women's World Championship match, Io Sky versus Bayley. And then you've got the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. And then the Undisputed Championship match, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
Looks
this
like a
is
pretty
looking
good
like
card
it's
so far.
exactly what I was gonna say. It looks like it's gonna be a good
Hmm.
WrestleMania. I can't believe it's already WrestleMania time. I
Yeah, I
mean,
know it.
oh, past years went by way too fast.
I mean, it feels like just a month ago we were watching WrestleMania 39 together.
Yeah,
It's now it's already almost here again.
yeah, that is pretty crazy, but it's looking like it's going to be a good WrestleMania, at least has some good potential to be a good Mania, a solid card. And yeah, at this point, we're a straight shot to WrestleMania. I mean, we have
Hmm.
a few, we have obviously all our weekly shows, but that was our last premium live event until WrestleMania. And yeah, I'm lo really looking forward to it. It's going to be at a reasonable time too for us, so we don't have to worry about
Hmm.
missing it, waking up at, super duper early in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure to request off from work so I could have off those days, uh, and so I could see those matches. Yeah, I look forward to it. The best time of the year
Yeah.
for a wrestling fan.
Yeah, we'll have to try to get together for this mania. I might have to come up to uh come up to your place and we can get together and watch that because it's
Yep,
it's gonna be a
yep,
good one. I think so.
yep.
All right, but I think that'll do it for this episode of Wrasslin City Podcast. Like I said, WrestleMania is 6 weeks away, and we will be covering everything that there is to cover for these next 6 weeks until the grandest stage of them all. Anything you want to say or add before we go?
Uh, so really not much about the pay-per-view itself, but next week when we cover ours, will be, our usual schedule. We'll be recording on Saturday is usually when we record these. And we have, like we said, The Rock's return, Roman Reigns returns. So there's going to be a lot of, I know most of our news is going to be for that. I don't think much has been confirmed for Raw, but that SmackDown appearance alone, there's already, I know, going to be a lot to talk about. So yeah, I look forward to it.
Yeah, they actually there's I know they're doing Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn on Raw again.
Again?
Yeah, again. And then
Okay.
they're doing a street fight. It's New Day versus Imperium in a street fight for
Oh,
Monday Night Raw.
okay. That looks pretty good. So that seems like it's going to be an
Hmm.
okay card. And I have off on Mondays. So yeah, that's something I can actually watch as it's happening. So yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah. But make sure you like this video, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell so you don't miss the video whenever it's dropped. I guess we're out of here on Wrestling City. We'll see you guys next time.